What's up, y'all? We're back today with another game day graphic from the game day series. So let's jump right into it. So again, we start out with the line texture on the bottom, and we've got a layer mask fading it from the top to the bottom, and then we have some shadows for what is about to pop in here. So these shadows are just black brushes. Again, super easy to make. Just kind of paint them where you see fit. I put a blur over his arm, kind of gradually going up him, because his hand's like, supposed to look like it's closer to the camera, and then as it fades back to him, this is what's in focus. Then I added in just another black brush, painted in some shading underneath him because the light is hitting him from the top right side, and then added in a little bit of shading over on the left side just to give the whole graphic some depth and show that, like, he's kind of been like a big dark area. And then I added another photo of him with a blur on it to basically make it look like his hand is kind of like lunging at the camera a little bit. It's not too intense, but just sort of subtle to give it some motion. And then I just put his face on top of it again. This is literally just a layer of his face, and I made it a little bit brighter because it was a little bit too dark. I could have just used an exposure layer and painted it in, I guess, but this is the way I decided to do it. So then I darkened up using just a black brush the top of him, kind of the same thing I did over here. Just kind of makes it look like there's some room, above his head and like to the left of his arm. And then I added in the other cutouts and just painted in some shading on them with a black brush. He would be like under the arm here, so he wouldn't be too lit up. So I kind of painted in some shading right here from the arm shadow, and then painted in a little bit of shading on his hands in his feet to make him look more like connected to the ground. And then we have another cutout with the inner shadow. That's just, again, a linear burn, kind of giving him a little more deeper shadows where the shadows are. And then again, just painted on some shading on top of him, just using black brushes, and again, just kind of like giving a drop shadow to the player above him. So we have two more inner shadows to again show some shading from the big player, kind of like blocking them from the light a little bit, and then a curves layer, which is literally just darkening those up so that they look a little bit less dark than like him and the top right of his shoulder. And then we have these pictures of wolves. So the team that we're playing is the red wolves, but all I could find for some reason is these pictures of white wolves, and any normal photographer that wants to take a picture of a wolf is obviously going to get the picture of the wolf facing the camera, but I needed these wolves facing the opposite direction. So he is looking at the camera, or looking towards the camera, but I had to fix that. But first I needed to make him a red wolf, so I blurred him up because he was close to the camera, kind of where his hand is right here. And then I used an inner shadow, which is a color dodge, to give him some lighting from the top right, and then a color overlay set to color burn of just like brown, and that kind of makes him look like a red wolf. So all I needed to do then was take another piece of him and lay it over top, and I mean, if you look at that quickly, it literally just looks like a wolf looking the other way. So that works pretty well, but it's going to work even better once I put the other wolf on top of it. So we just used this curves layer to darken it up because there's going to be another wolf right here, which is right there. So that is either the same exact picture or a very similar picture of another wolf that is not a red wolf. Again, blurred it up to make it look, like it's closer to the camera. Then we just did the inner shadow, the color overlay, and they look a little bit different, but I think, they still look similar enough that it doesn't throw you off too much. And all I did was just darken up the foreground a little bit, so now they match even more. Then I just added some hue saturations to get rid of the blue in the photo. You can kind of see on his arm and just like on some other areas of the black uniform that it goes from blue to more of like a white look. Then I used another color lookup to bring up the blacks a little bit, and then did a top right light, bottom left shadow, the text info, game info, then our color overlay, the bottom info. And that's it for this one. So if you want to see more game day graphics like this, check out this video. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a good one.